From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Bimbo Oloide.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, CBN Governor appears before Senate Committee on Finance, asks NNPC to explain $20 billion of unremitted funds. 2014 budget passes second reading in the Senate, but suffers setback in the House of Representatives. The National Council of States meets in Abuja, approves the holding of a national conference. And at least 8 people have been killed and 26 injured in a blast outside a Shia mosque in Peshawar, Pakistan.
On Business News tonight, CBN withdraws huge sum from deposit money banks, reviews reserve requirement policy.
And on sports news tonight, Nigeria's Super Eagles and world champions Spain set to feature in an 8-nation invitational tournament ahead of the 2014 FIFA World Cup.
Okay, and from Abuja, All Progressives Congress APC leadership tells its lawmakers to pursue party agenda in the National Assembly.
The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi is raising fresh questions on remittances to the Federation account by the NNPC. Mr. Sanusi is asking the NNPC to tell the nation where it got approval to buy kerosene at 150 naira and sell at 40 naira, despite the removal of petroleum subsidy by the president. The CBN boss is also raising questions on the $20 billion unaccounted oil revenue by the NNPC. Mr. Sanusi, who appeared before the Senate committee today, insists that from April 2012 till date, no money has been remitted to the Federation account by the NNPC.
There was no vacant seat in the hall, venue of a Senate panel investigating the non-remittance of crude oil funds into the Federation account. For a public hearing of this nature, this was expected. For the past few months, there has been a chilly back and forth between the CBN governor and the NNPC over unremitted funds from all revenues. And so this public hearing by the Senate Committee on Finance to get to the root of the matter expectedly drew a diverse crowd of people. This public hearing is a follow-up to an earlier session in December last year, where the committee began investigating the allegation made by the CBN of an alleged non-remittance of $49.8 billion by the NNPC from January 2012 to July 2013. At that hearing, the CBN governor, Mr. Sanusi Lamido, made a U-turn and said so far only $12 billion was left unreconciled. But the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, at that meeting countered Mr. Sanusi, saying the figure yet to be reconciled is $10.8 billion.
And if the central bank believes that part of that...
However, Tuesday's public hearing, the CBN governor stuck to his guns and gave another blow to the NNPC.
So let us first of all make it clear that out of $67 billion NNPC shipped, $47 billion has been repatriated to the central bank. Now what we're talking about is the balance of the $20 billion and what explanations have been given. NNPC has said some of it does not belong to the Federation. So $6 billion MPDC. We have held the position that some of the crude shipped by MPDC is shipped from oil wells that belong to the Federation. JVs that Shell went out of, which NNPC took over and handed over to MPDC, which then handed over to 2 Nigerian companies, Atlantic Energy and Seven Energy, and transferred revenue that should come to the Federation to private hands. And I have given 3 legal opinions to this committee on the unconstitutionality and illegality of that transaction.
The CBN governor also raised some other issues questioning the operations of the NNPC.
NNPC has explained that 80% of the money they have not repatriated came on kerosene and fuel subsidy. I have submitted to this committee written evidence of a presidential directive eliminating subsidy since 2009, and NNPC needs to provide its authority for buying kerosene at 150 naira from the Federation account and selling at 40 naira, and inflicting that loss on the Federation.
The NNPC, however, is not prepared to take the allegations from the CBN lying low.
CBN is a banking outfit, so I really understand why they would not understand some petroleum engineering issues, and they are not also an auditing outfit. Now what they're trying to do is to audit, and I had some statements made here that they do not have this document, they don't have that document. They are not the auditors. We have certified bodies and arms of agencies that are charged with the responsibility of auditing. They are banking, right? So what he said was not really new. We said clearly that we stated an amount that went to NPDC, and that amount was the gross lifting. But there are other streams that go back to government in terms of taxes, just like any other business player.
The Committee on Finance had instructed the CBN, the NNPC, the Ministry of Petroleum and the Ministry of Finance to reconcile their figures and get back to the committee. But till date, the chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, says the committee is yet to receive the Interagency Reconciliation Report. From the National Assembly, Linda Kibe, Channels Television News.
After 4 days of intense debate in the Senate, the 2014 Appropriation Bill has scaled through the crucial second reading. This is perhaps an indication that the APC caucus in the Senate did not heed the directive of the party to block all executive bills. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who presided over plenary today, commended the lawmakers for allowing the budget to go through its second reading. The bill has been forwarded to the Senate Committees on Appropriation and Finance for further legislative work, and the Joint Committee has 3 weeks to conclude its work and report to the Senate. Well, the 2014 Appropriation Bill may be having a smooth sail in the Senate, but that seems not to be the case in the lower chamber. The bill suffered a setback today in the House as debate on the draft law was brought to a halt after 2 members presented opposing views on its consideration. Consequently, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Aminu Tambuwal, who has set up a 6-man committee to look into the views and present a position to guide the House. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, has the report.
Go ahead. It appeared a straightforward issue. The first allotted day for debate on the general principles of the 2014 Appropriation Bill, but hardly had the majority leader introduced the bill when a point of order was raised.
The law requires that estimates of these corporations must accompany the submission of the budget. And what we have is a summary, an abridged version of the estimates. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, the Minister has no responsibility under this law to give us her own summary.
Some lawmakers did not take kindly to this position. The position was put forward by another lawmaker who disagreed with the first position.
So he agrees that estimates have followed. He's taking exception to the fact that they have been abridged. That's what he said. And as Chairman Appropriation, I'm aware that the budget estimates that have come have accompanied them these estimates. It's not enough, basically, to stop the consideration of this budget in terms of the second reading.
It was then up to the Speaker to rule on the point of order raised.
That will look at this issue and advise the presiding officer accordingly. The names are Sam Sokwa, Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business, his deputy, Sunday Adepuju, Amindu Shagari, Chairman Judiciary, his deputy, Ken Chikere, Chairman House Committee on Justice, Ali Ahmed, and his deputy, Honorable Chukwemeke Obo. These 6 are hereby given 24 hours to advise the presiding officer on this issue at hand. That is my ruling, please.
This ruling did not end the matter, as lawmakers gathered in groups debating the development. Some lawmakers say this issue looks too convenient and appears to be a plot by the opposition to stall the budget consideration. A statement the opposition rejects.
I believe what is of paramount importance is the interest of Nigerians. I believe that members will not bring their partisan interests to come and declare what they are doing for this country.
Nothing can be more heart-rending than for Nigerians to sweep every helpful point that is made in Parliament under the carpet of partisanship.
The Speaker says the House will not be sitting on Wednesday and Thursday, as all APC lawmakers will be traveling to commence their party registration in their constituencies. This means Nigerians will have to wait till Tuesday next week to find out if the budget will be considered or not. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
The Council of State's meeting, presided over by President Goodluck Jonathan, has ended at the presidential villa, with the body endorsing some key national programs. Some of the decisions taken by Council include the approval of a national conference, as well as the appointment of a new chairman for the National Population Commission, NPC. At the end of the meeting, the Governor of Benue State, Gabriel Suswam, told journalists that apart from these decisions, the Council also expressed deep concern about the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast and looked at how best to deal with the scourge.
They started converging at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and it perhaps served as a forum to reconcile some governors who in the past few weeks have been nursing acrimony against each other following political maneuverings towards 2015. It is a meeting that is supposed to attract all former presidents of Nigeria, but at the last count here, only 5 of them attended, with President Goodluck Jonathan presiding. After about 5 hours, they rose from the meeting. President Goodluck Jonathan took time out to see the past leaders off to their cars as they exchanged banters before departing the presidential villa. They were said to have given approval to the national conference as enunciated by the Goodluck Jonathan administration.
The president briefed us about a lot of things, the impending conference that is coming up. There were a lot of contribution and the council approved it. We also presented with a list of the new chairman for the Population Commission and some members, some new members, and some to be reappointed. That too was approved. And then the National Security Advisor briefed us on the general security situation in the country, which all members of the council contributed as to the way forward and decisions that will be taken to address some of the security issues that are affecting the country.
The council was also said to have advised the executive on the issues of elections, judiciary and national population census, and called on those jostling for political office to do so without heating up the polity and avoid such statements that could incite the ordinary Nigerians. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, over 20 countries team up to fight pirates in the Gulf of Guinea. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.